Welcome, ladies and gents. We have a special guest who I'm very excited to introduce. Her name is Izabela. Izabela, welcome. And thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm so excited about this. When I first heard about you, I was like trying to do a little research. I was like, who is this guy? And then our common friend, Mina, sent me a video about you. And I was like, okay, let me check this out. Because he always sends me stuff like, hey, do this, do this. He's like, you need to do what Taylor just said. So I go and I'm like, holy cow. And then I went into a rabbit hole of all your videos. And I'm like, this dude is smart. So it's such an honor for me to be here with you.
Oh my God. As everyone can see, Isabella's energy is just naturally the most amazing thing ever. So
I appreciate it.
yes, you can definitely learn from that. Let me give everybody a proper intro. You're the founder of RankBell, which we'll get into soon, which is an agency that started in about 2015. It now does about 150K per month in profit, roughly. Revenue is not a metric we'll talk about mainly because it's somewhat inflated, which we'll get to when we talk about the nature of your service. But I want to structure this interview into kind of like three different phases. One is kind of like the early stages of you starting, how you started, and then two, kind of scaling up, and then three, maybe some weird, just one-off random questions that are
Sure.
love it. Why don't you tell people what RankBell does?
Sure. So RankBell is just like you said, Taylor, it's just I consider it small and small agency. Small because, we only have about 10 employees, you could say, contractors that actually work in the company. So but what we do, we actually help Amazon sellers scale their brand by helping them rank on page one. And we
Mm-hmm.
do this by different things, but our main thing, the way we use this amazing tool is to help people find, search, and buy. So it's actually search, find, buy, but people get this idea of like, oh my gosh, search, find, buy, like what is it? It's this like mystical thing. It's a very simple process, but we perfected the method in such a way that when sellers come to us, they tell us exactly what they want, and we are able to accomplish that for them. And a lot of people ask me in podcasts like, oh my god, like it sounds so complicated, like it's this
Mm-hmm.
and it's that, but it's really simple. But one thing I will tell you about this business is that you have to be extremely good with people, because I use people on both sides. So I deal with the clients, which is the sellers, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with the buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to find that sweet spot between
Yeah.
the two is what makes this career or job a little bit difficult. So I want to tell everybody that it is a simple process, something that somebody can become an expert in. Is just you have to make sure that you are a people's person. So that was kind of a long introduction. I just don't want people to think it's like such a out of this world product that somebody cannot replicate. You can. And I actually, in my podcast, I always tell people, I'm like, you know what, you don't have to come and pay for my service, you can do it yourself. But people like to come and use the service, so I don't mind sharing the secrets.
Beautiful. And so for anyone who doesn't really understand, ranking like on page one in Amazon is like almost like as big of a deal as ranking on page one for Google for a really
Yes.
important keyword.
Yes.
Exact same situation. If your service does that and can do that successfully, it's like extremely valuable and can make brands a lot of money. So although you say it's simple, I'm sure it has.
Yeah. Well, I don't, for Amazon sellers, they're always very nervous because for a lot of these people, this is their bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
And, they look at a concept like this and they don't really understand the benefit of it. So I meet and talk to a lot of sellers, and they feel this fear like, oh my god, I have to spend all this money on marketing, on ranking campaigns. And what a lot of people don't understand is that being an Amazon seller, it's actually a career. It's
Yeah.
not a hobby. It's not something, it's not a side gig, like it used to be called, many years ago, like, oh, let me just put something on Amazon, it will be like my side money. No, this can actually be very fruitful. And me and you both, we work with $1 million sellers who are making really good money from this. So I want people to go into this thinking that this is very important job that you can have, like you're employing yourself to do this, but it can be very lucrative. So with that being said, a lot of sellers come in and they say, I created this perfect product, if I just put it on Amazon, it will sell. Well, what they don't understand is, Amazon, just like Google, has a very, very delicate algorithm. So for you to be able to actually start selling, doesn't matter if you have the best product in the world. You do need some help, such as PPC, which you guys offer, ranking, which we offer, and there's many other services out there, and there's a lot of sellers, but you need to utilize some of these tools if you want to be the best. If you just want to consider this as a hobby and as a gig, then yeah, you might not want to invest that much in it. But if you're starting something, why not go all the way in? Why not like crush it? Like it's 2021. Seriously, we have all the tools in our hands right now to become successful in really anything we want. Do you agree with that?
100%. Absolutely. Yes.
Good.
And what I get out of everything you just said is that your ideal customer client very, very well, and you can speak to their feelings and like what they need to know very well as well, which is like super important. So,
yes, and I work with everyone. We don't turn anybody away if I can help them by giving them advice. I have a lot of new sellers come to me and say, you know what, I really don't have money to do this. And then I'm like, let me take a look at your product. And it's the same garlic press than everybody else was doing. And then, I tend to have those uncomfortable conversations because other people will just dismiss them like, hey, I can't take you. Like, or like, oh, if you don't make this much money, then I can't take you as a client. But sometimes these people need help. I mean, I started from zero. I could have used all the help that anybody would have offered, and I want to do this for them. So I'll say, you know what, like, where did you see this? Well, I learned this in a course that the product price has to be between like $10 and $20, and I think that's stupid. I think there's so many other products out there that if you search enough and if you have enough money to invest, you can pick a product that's $50 landing cost and sell it for $200, $300, $400. You can. I mean, you have to just do the math. I don't want people to take courses as like the Bible, because courses are made specific by different people with different personalities and what worked for them. Yes. So I want people to keep an open mind that there's not just one way to do it. Just like, I have the service and you have the service. There's plenty other PPC companies, but the way you do it is what attracts your clientele to you. So same thing goes with courses. I don't want you to get stuck and say, oh my God, like, this product is, I was told to have a product between $10 and $20 landing cost, but this one is 22, so I can't touch it. Like a lot of courses, especially for newbies, they get in and they take that course because they paid, a few grand. And they're like, I have to follow it exactly. So look around, like look at Taylor's videos on YouTube. Look at, there's so many other people on YouTube that are giving this information for free, and then make up your own mind. Like, what is it that I want to do? What is it that attracts me? What is it that, feels true to me? And when I speak of that, there is another side to that. Like, don't just pick a hobby. Like if you like to play tennis, like don't pick a tennis band, like your niche will be so small. Like always pick what makes money first and keep the hobby on the side. You can always do that later. So don't mix hobbies with what's going to be your moneymaker.
This is a beautiful transition, because what I wanted to ask you was how you came up with the idea of picking the niche that you got into when you originally started.
So actually I started as just a service provider. So I'm a human. Let's start with that. I'm human. And because I'm human, I also have my own limiting beliefs, and I also have my own issues as a human. So for me, it was always easier to keep my perspective from outside. So somebody would come to me, excuse me, and I would be able to be like, okay, I can see how this product will benefit from this. I can see how this product, but I never felt like I wanted to take that responsibility of me doing it myself. So like, creating a product for myself. And it's also probably because, I didn't want to like fail and then go into that rabbit hole of disappointing myself and making me feel like I'm not good enough to help other people. But again, this is like a small parenthesis about what's going on in my popcorn brain. But you know what? I'm always honest. Like any question you ask, I'll always tell you the truth. So I had that. So I felt like the best way I can help clients is for me to to help with this service. Now it's 2021. I have a different, opinion of that. I feel like I gained enough experience, and now I'm actually launching 2 brands, a pharmaceutical company and just another brand by myself. So now I feel like I can do it. And even if I fail, it's okay, because I get to learn from my own mistakes, and also all the mistakes that I've seen over the years that people do. But in the beginning, it just started with that. Like, I was helping a person. He wanted me to help him post his listing on Amazon. I had no idea how to do that. I had no idea what Seller Central is. I had no idea that there were third-party sellers selling things on Amazon. I thought Amazon was selling everything. I was like, oh my God, what a great company. They just have all this stuff out of nowhere. So I was at one point a beginner too. I was at one point at where, maybe people who are watching this for the first time, they think. And it took me a while to like really understand, like, okay, so it's not just Amazon that's selling, it's just all this brand owners. And, since this person reached out to me, I was like, you know what, let's play. Let's see what comes out of this. So I helped them. I looked at, he was selling light bulbs. And, for those who have heard me speak before, they know the story. So his father had a light bulb factory in Europe. And he's like, you know what, let's try putting it on Amazon. I'm like, I'm down. Like, I'm always down for a challenge. And we do that. I help him put the listing up. And I actually created the listing. Again, I'm not a copywriter. I know nothing of that. But what I did, I went to like a competition. I was like, okay, they're using this, they're saying this. So I took what I learned from the other ones. Guys, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Like, this worked. I mean, you should definitely invest in a copywriter. Like, don't do what I did. But 6 years ago, this was like amazing. So, and he took some pictures, and oh my God, like the quality was terrible, but it was okay. We did it. Put the pictures up, put the listing up. Boom, sales came in, boom, boom. But this again was 6 years ago, and he just blew up. And I think he's still, I should check on him. He still sells like millions of dollars. Millions. And then, so he didn't pay me. I didn't want any money. Like, he was just my friend. But what happened was, he introduced me to his friend, and his friend to his friends, and his friends to his friends to his friends to his friends. And now we're here in 2021. And me and you had this conversation before. I've never invested a penny in marketing and advertising, because everyone that I helped has always introduced me to other people. Some more than others. And today, this is where we are. We're just a word of mouth agency.
Beautiful. So literally, it was just a friend who,
it was an accident. It was purely accident. Let's put it this way.
That is absolutely amazing. It was like that for me too. My dad just bought a little Amazon business and was like, I'll try the advertising. So may not be the most insightful thing for people who are like, how do I pick a niche? But at the end of the day, you have to be aware of like this.
Exactly. And it shows like, so with all the jobs that I had, and I was a real estate agent, and actually I worked for the government for 5 years.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yes. And so I did many things. And when I first came to this country, and, for those who can hear a little accent, I'm from Romania. But when I came here, I came as a nanny, and I cleaned houses, guys. Like, I was like, making $50 to clean a house. Hell yeah, I can do that. Like, you have to understand the way my brain works. I'm like, there's money to be made. I have no shame.
Yeah.
I have no shame. I was a nanny. I cleaned houses. I don't care. I paid my bills. I was able to send money home. I was so happy when I was offered like this little tiny jobs. I was like, where's the dollars? Yeah. So I'm mentioning this because I have to give you a little background in why I'm so good at what I do. Because every single thing I've ever done, I put everything in it. I put my all. So any job that I had, I wanted those people who hired me to be like, holy cow, she's the best we've ever had. That was my only goal. And every time I left the job, they begged me to stay. So of course, now when it came to Amazon and I kind of fell into this, I was like, this is my chance. Like, I can help these people. But you see, it's always, what can I do for people? How can I make it better? How can I make this the best that they have ever had so they can come back and recommend me to their friend? So, a lot of people tend to like, oh, I'm not going to do this. They're not going to notice. Where am I? I'm going to do this and more. and they're going to notice that I'm the best. And even if they don't notice, they feel like something is different and they will come back. And that's it. This is the difference between me and all the other ranking companies out there, because I'm never cutting corners. And when they come to me, they know they have my full attention, like they are my brother and my sister.
Beautiful. And when you, I mean, when you were starting out, I guess this applies to anything, but for me, when I was starting out the agency, I had a bit of imposter syndrome where you're kind of starting this thing, you don't have any experience, but you're just like so willing to learn and just do it and do it for free, if anything, and then learn it and then become better at it. Did you deal with any form of like mindset challenges of imposter syndrome, or like, man, can I really charge for this? And if you did, how did you overcome it?
I never had imposter syndrome because I'm psychotic. No, it's not true. Everybody has that. I have that every day. But you know what? I read one thing one time, and okay, it's going to be very morbid. I warn you guys. You may want to skip. So I read somewhere about this lady. Okay, so this lady had like beautiful pictures of her whole family. It's in this house in like 1800s, right? And you know, this beautiful pictures and family, and it's like it went to today and it showed the house, like, you know, they kept it the same, whoever the realtor was selling it, and there was no people and nobody remembered them. Like, it's just like boom, they were gone. And then I was like, you know what, first time I spoke on stage, oh my God, I sucked so bad, but I knew I sucked. And, you know, I was like, it's okay, because you know what? We're all going to be dead and nobody's going to remember this. Like, I swear to God, like this, I'm like, you know what? Like, I make mistakes all the time. Like, even if I go on a stage and I fall down, like, I'll get up and I'll laugh and I'll be like, you know what? Actually, it won't even take a whole lifetime. It's going to take a month and nobody's going to remember this. And they don't care. Like, people think of us, but no, we think of ourselves. Like, we're always in the moment, like, oh my God, people are watching. Like, I make mistakes all the time and I admit them and then we move on. And others are so afraid to fail that they won't start anything. So for me, I was like, you know what? I don't know anything. And I freely tell anyone, like, I didn't know anything. And that's fine, because you can't possibly know anything unless you start doing and you start practicing. And by practicing, you get good at it. So you can't be like, you know what? I want to write a book, but I'm not going to write. Like, you can only be a book writer if you start writing. Like, there's no other way. Like, to become a good speaker, you have to speak. So same thing with having a service. And in the end, maybe nobody's going to pay you, or they're going to pay you $5. And that's fine, because every time you do something, you learn from it. And now I welcome challenges. I welcome failures. I welcome them, because every time I do it, they're going to shoot me up to the next best thing.
I think it's really beautiful what you said about just openly admitting, you know, I don't really know anything. And that really kind of allows you to remove that fear, because you're just humble. You have the humility to say, look, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then it removes that. Yeah. Oh my God, people are going to be like, you know, think this or think that. So beautiful.
Thank you. And that's the best way to learn. And, you know, that's why I like when, you know, I do interviews, because I don't want people to put me on this pedestal, like, oh, you know, she makes 150 grand a month. Like, she was born like that. Like, or she has something we don't. No, I don't. Like, you guys don't understand. I came from Romania with $100 in my pocket, 100, that's it. And I had no English. First of all, I had to learn English to even get to your level. Like, I had so much to catch up, and I'm still catching up. Sometimes I do think, wow, it would have been so great to be born in US. I would have gone to a nice college. I would have got, you know, my vocabulary would be more eloquent and I'll be more sophisticated. And trust me, I think of this all the time, but you know what? I didn't. I have to work with what I have. So those who are watching, I want to tell you that just because I'm where I am right now, it doesn't mean that I've always been here. Remember, I used to clean houses for $50, and people used to treat me like shit because I was like their employee. Trust me, this is real life. And just because I'm white, and just because I'm a girl, and just because this doesn't mean shit. Okay? Like, I worked very, very, very hard. And I'm telling you this because you can also do it. Like, never think that you can do it. Anything you decide to do, you decide. This is the key word. You have to first have the vision and then decide to go get it. That's it.
You would be speaking at an event if I was hosting it, and I think you'd start it to get the energy rolling again. You have the best energy ever. So I'm like ready to just work 40 hours straight and not go to sleep after that.
I appreciate that. Well,
Um,
at least I'm good at something.
no, well, this, I think you already answered this. This is always like a very common question for people on the channel, which is like, starting out, I got like a client, how do I get more? You said that referrals has always been a primary strategy of yours, especially when you started out. You just kind of had a friend, did some work for free, that friend introduced you. Tell me about kind of when RankBell was starting, and just, I know it's referral based, but the marketing strategy of getting your first clients and scaling referrals through networking, if you will.
Yes. So if you were to start, an agency right now, you do have to prove yourself. So the best way to do this is, number one, networking. And I know I feel like, one of those like marketers, like, oh, do the networking, blah, blah. No, guys, really. And if you're shy and introvert, guess what? Get over it. I'm telling you right now. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do this. If you have to fake it, if you have to be like, you know what? Today I'm putting on a Superman cape. Like, do whatever it takes to trick your mind, trick your subconscious, because that's what it is. Whatever you tell your mind that you are, you are. Okay, think of this instance. You're running on the treadmill and you're like, holy cow, it's been like 3 minutes and I'm dying. If you're like, you know what? I can do this. Like, do this, just do this for me. Just a little experiment. You go for it. But if you start saying, you know what, I'm so tired. Like, you know what, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You're going to start slowing down. Like, your mind you tell your mind what you want, and the mind follows. So if you're an introvert and you're this, pretend you are not. I'm serious. It sounds simple. Pretend you're not. Pretend you are Grant Cardone and you just flew in from a helicopter and landed on the stage. Okay. Pretend that you are whoever you want to be. And if it works that you put on a hat, and whenever you put that hat on, you will become this other person, whatever works for you. So become a networker. And the best way to do this is go out there and offer your services for free. Yes, for free. And prove to people, if you have a skill, and all of you do, everyone listening out there, you have a skill and you think you don't, but you do. Whether it's like you're the fastest reader that you've ever met, whether you're the, whatever, you have something. And if you don't, it's totally fine. I'm still trying to find my skills. I don't know what they are, but you can learn a skill. If you decide you're like, you know what, I really want to be good at accounting, you can become the best at accounting. So if you don't have a skill, learn one, and then sell the skill. How do you sell that skill? Is by introducing it to people and offer that to them for free. Because nobody today goes to somebody. If somebody, Taylor, came to me and said, Izabela, listen, I have this amazing skill. I want to prove myself to you. I want to work for you for free for 1 month. And at the end of the month, if you're not happy with my results, don't pay me. But if you are, I would expect you to pay me whatever you think it's worth. I would hire 10 of them. 10.
Dude, I can't believe not more people like come to me with that approach. It's
nobody. And I even put out a job listing with your help. You had a little help in that. And I got like 1 applicant and he didn't even respond. So what I'm saying is, there are ways, like there's so many ways out there to make money if you really want this. Guys, I wanted this so bad that I was working so long and I did not care. And if we go into this completely, I am a woman in a men's business world. Okay. Like almost all the sellers that I work with, like 95% of them are men, 95. And when they talk to me as a woman, automatically, and not, I'm not bashing men. I love men. They're the greatest. I learn everything I know from men. They tend to see you at a different light. Let's put it this way. So for me, not only I was dealing with imposter syndrome, I was looking at all these people as they're higher than me. And because of that, they felt the energy and they were reciprocating that with making me feel exactly how I thought they were going to make me feel. If that makes any sense at all.
No, it
so
does.
I allow them, through my energy and through what I was saying to them, I allow them to talk down to me. I allow them to bargain with me like my service is not good enough. And because I thought that I had a problem and that I didn't know enough, that they could come to me and say, I don't want to pay this, I want to pay this. And I'll be like, okay, whatever you want. until the day I decided that is no longer going to happen. And you see, again, I decided. And when I decided, my whole energy and focus changed, and nobody could say this to me anymore. It's like they changed because I changed.
Mm-hmm.
And next time, somebody did try to say something like this, I was able to be like, you know what? I don't think so. That's not going to happen. And it was fine. They didn't hate me. And guess what happened? They respected me even more. They looked up to me. They saw me on a different light. And now everybody's like, oh my God, like RankBell, like she's the best. Like, oh my God, like, of course, she's so like good. And it was just that energy shift that I did that reciprocated, and it was like facing a different person.
Yes.
And I love that. And that's why it's very important, even if you don't have confidence, to see yourself as a confident person. So yeah, you have a skill, go out there and tell somebody that you want to do work for free. Taylor, I know if somebody came to you with this offer, you would take them.
Yes.
And you are better AMS. Like, you're not just like some small company. Like, you guys are huge. And I know you would give somebody a chance if they came with that offer.
We would definitely give someone a chance. Yes. If the approach was done properly and, it was done in a genuine way,
100%.
I would absolutely hop on a call. So
yes.
Beautiful. I want to ask this kind of a follow-up to what you were saying. You were talking about how when you changed within, without then changed, and that was a big shift for you. I'm curious to know now, with where you're at currently, what do you think like the next big shift would be to come, similar to that last very pivotal shift for you? That's kind of mindset related, I guess. Do you have
100%? So I have a vision board in front of me. It's huge. It's this big.
No way. I love it.
Yes, it's this big. I wish I could show you, but I can't because I have a messy room.
Okay.
And I bought it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fill it out with all the beautiful things, with what I want, a jet and this and this and this. And I was like, first of all, I didn't have time to do all that, but all I had was one thing. I wrote this thing on a piece of paper that says $1 billion paid to Izabela Hamilton. That's it. That's all I see every day. There's no noise. There's no cars. There's no jazz. There's no, romantic walks on the beach with somebody holding my hand. None of that. And so my laser focus is to have the ability to come up with $1 billion idea. So that's my sole focus. Now, this is quite of a big reach. And I came to the conclusion that, when we make these goals and dreams, we tend as humans, as little scared humans inside of ourselves, that, we're afraid to make big dreams and big goals because we don't know how we're going to get there. We don't know how to. So we're like, I kind of want like $100,000 a year. I can guarantee you some people watching right now, they will be happy with that. And this is the answer that we will get from them. They'll be like, you know what? I would be happy with that. Like that's fine. Like, I'll be happy with that. They say this almost as a prayer to like God or whoever, like, oh, if you hear me, $100,000 is enough. Like, I'm so nice that I don't ask for more than that. Like, just do this and I'll be happy. Guys, you caught the golden fish. Why not make the wish as big as you want? Like, it doesn't matter. It's a freaking wish anyway. Like, why ask for $100,000 if you can ask for $1 million? Why ask for $1 million if you can ask for 50? And so forth and so forth and so forth. Because what happens, again, it goes back into your mind. So if you are making your dreams small enough, you're only going to try to do small things. Because it's easy to get there. And the way I create my goals is if it doesn't scare me, it's not the one. If that number does not scare me, that is not the right number. So if I ask somebody, hey, what do you want to see in 10 years in your bank account? And if they say, 100,000 or 500,000, and I can see, like, I'm like, does that scare you? No, I think it's achievable. Then it's not the number. That's not the number. Like, when you say the number, I want you to shake. I want you to be like, oh my God, I don't know how. And that's the beauty of it, because you don't have to know how you're going to get there. If I start to think right now, how the hell am I going to get $1 billion? I would have a headache for the next 7 days, because I'll be like, that's impossible. There's no way. I'm a girl. I'm from Romania. I don't know shit. I don't know this. Like, all these things will come to me to make me not want to do it, to put me down. And I rather not think of it. So I make the goal and I put it there, and I'm happy with the decision. I accept it. And what happens is so interesting. Your brain will start creating connections and experiences in your life that will lead for you there. So this, if I'm like, you know what, I accept that I want $1 billion, guess what? My brain will start looking for things that are happening in my life just for those things that will be able to take me in that direction. So let's say, I end up being in a clubhouse room and, Grant Cardone is talking, and maybe I open my mic and I'm like, hey, Grant, what do you think of this, this? And next thing you know, he's like, oh, let's do this deal together. And next thing you know, boom. But that's what I'm saying. Just like when you buy a red car and now you see all the freaking red cars on the road.
Yeah.
So same idea works in your mind. If you make a goal that, I want to own this company, I want to have this, your brain will start aligning situations and experience, and you are going to find them. So I don't want you to worry how to get there. Now, you asked me what my next move is. That is my next one. I want to every single year increase my profits at least by 5x. 5x. And when I think about it, it's kind of achievable. So I could probably go higher. But again, I am human myself. I think, if I do, profits, 3 to 5 million this year, I'll be happy. And next year, I will increase and increase and increase. Again, this has nothing to do with my $1 billion thing, because no way, even if I do make $5 million a year for the next 5 years, yay, it's great. People are going to be like, oh my God, you made 5 million. That's amazing. It will never take me to $1 billion. Like, I know, and I don't know any agency or, service provider that has achieved this. But again, it's not stopping me from doing the best I can at what I'm doing right now. And I know that $1 billion idea will come eventually. If it's from this, if it's related to Amazon, I don't know. Is it related to something else? I have no idea. Is it relating to me like speaking on the stage? I don't know. And it's not my business to know right now, because it will mess me up. I can't.
Yeah.
So, so my thing is like removing those limiting beliefs that, how in the world am I going to get to 5 million a year? How am I going to get to 10? So definitely I struggle with this a lot. And as when you reach a certain amount of money that you make, it's no longer about that. It's no longer about the money. It's about like you're fighting with yourself now. Like you don't even fight with like other companies. You don't even think of that as like, okay, how can I beat myself from who I was last year? How can I improve that? How can I take that past this? How can I make this better?
It's very much you versus you. And
Yes.
the number is the score.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely other scores. What is the other scores in your life aside from that number that you value as like an important KPI that you really want to keep increasing?
So I I definitely want to be happier. This is obviously my happy place. I want and when I say happier, it's like the final destination, because everything that we do in life, it ends up to this happiness spot. So usually people think, if I only were to get to 100,000 a year, I would be happy. They don't even know that they're getting to the happy part, but they're thinking, okay, if I have 100 grand, then I can get a nice car. If I have a nice car, I can get my wife. If I have my wife, then she'll give me kids, and the kids will blah 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 blah, blah all the way to make me happy. So what I want to achieve is, even if I never get to that $1 billion, I want to achieve the happiness without it. So, and again, I'm a pretty happy person, but I still have to find my DNA and my humanness to get to this level. So I want to be happy now without any of that. This is my number one goal. And if I can achieve that, I can achieve any other goals out there. Because again, we're all racing to this. We're all racing to get happy. I want to fly in a jet. I want to meet whoever you think is like the greatest person. I want to meet Oprah. Like all of these lead to, because it will make me happy. Like we all want to be happy. But if we could only reverse and make ourselves happy now, everything else will take care of itself. You are not going to have to wait till you get that promotion. You're not going to have to wait till you get to 5 million a year. You're not going to have to wait, because what happens when we do this, we're never satisfied. Again, because of our DNA, we're never satisfied. Okay, now I got to 100 grand. Oh my God, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? I thought it was going to make me happy. Oh, you know what's going to make me happy? If I get to 500 grand a year, like that's going to be it. You get there, you're like, oh shit, I'm not happy. And now you have money, and then you're going to get on antidepressants and do all the drugs in the world because now you have money to do that, but you're not going to be happy. So if we get happy first, then everything else is just a game. Like everything I see is a game. I play, Taylor. This is not a job. I literally work like I don't even know when I don't work. But because it's such a game and it's so beautiful for me, I don't consider work. Like this is not
Yes.
work. And I actually love what I do. Like this is making me happy. Like talking to you, my whole day's made. Like I'm excited. I'm happy. I got my quota of happiness today. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's so easy, and we humans tend to complicate things so much, and it's the beauty is in the simple things. The secret is in the simple things.
Yes, that is amazing. Pivoting, there's a couple of really important questions that I want to ask you that I resonate with very deeply, and maybe we can rabbit hole down them a little bit. I know we have short on time, but how important are systems and processes for RankBell?
Is this a trick question, Taylor?
No, this is not. I'm just curious.
So, is it important to somebody's success? To somebody's, because it is a very interesting question, and I could give you simple answers, but so have I been successful and become a millionaire with no systems? Yes. Now, do I consider them of utter importance? Yes, very much so. But remember how I started? I started all myself. And then I got to do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I never even had time for systems. I didn't know what systems are. I know if you want to, go get water, you go to a fountain, you pull up a bucket of water, you drink water. That's all I know, right? Like, I know there's a way where you can take water to your house and hook it to the sink, and it would be so much easier. But because I was doing so much in it, like I did not have time to create that. It was easier for me to go get that water from the fountain than me researching how to do all that. I hope this analogy makes sense. So yes, do I consider them now of importance? Absolutely. Would I be able to scale going through the fountain every single day to get water? No, which is why systems are 100% important. But if you're just starting out, you don't need to do all of that, because a lot of us tend to think, oh my God, I can't start a business because I need to hire this person to create this website and I need this person to do this. Guys, people didn't even know who I was until like 3 years into my business. I was telling Taylor, like my picture on my Facebook was like, I love my life. Like, who the hell is this girl? I did not have a website. People just knew there's this girl Izabela who does an amazing job. That's all. You have to stand behind your work. If your work is the best, nobody cares if your website is optimized. My LinkedIn, I don't even know what I have on my LinkedIn. Like, I should care. Definitely. I should care. I'm probably going to take care of it, but I haven't. I do all my business through Facebook, guys. Facebook, who everybody's like, oh my God, like don't do business on Facebook. Like it's not professional. Go to LinkedIn. I'm like, dude, I make like millions of dollars off of Facebook messaging. Like people will look at it like so unprofessional, but sometimes again, it's the simple things, guys. Don't get caught up into, oh, I need to hire a PR agency to tell the world I have arrived. I need to tell that. No, you have an idea, you have a skill, go for it. Go for it. That's all I'm saying.
I think the beautiful thing in this is just kind of systems and processes only really becomes important when you feel it is holding you back from reaching the next level. And it seems like within your agency, you guys made it very far, much further than the average agency or service provider would make it, without having some beautiful SOPs all across the board. Yes. But it sounds like now you're at a stage where you feel like this might be necessary to.
Of course, if I want to take it, from 3 million to like 10, absolutely. Only because I would hold myself back from not doing it, because, a lot of, the ladies that work with me, they still have to do all this manual work. I know it would make their life easier if I were to implement some systems, and it would make my life easier because I wouldn't have to do all this manual stuff. Again, it worked so far. And again, it will work for you, but there comes a point where you do have to do certain things to scale and to grow and to make things easier.
Beautiful. Yeah. I like the contrast though of like, you don't need it until you need it and just
Yeah.
intuitively feel when you need it and not,
Oh, you will know. You will know.
it is very painful. How do you keep like a pulse on the health of your agency? Is there KPIs you look at? Do you look at P&Ls? Like, what is the thing that you do to just know, okay,
Yeah.
things are going great?
So that's definitely one of my weaknesses. Because I'm always the person like I just love to go out there and talk to clients and talk to people, and that things are like, ugh, I don't like doing that. I mean, as an agency owner, you should have a pulse on everything. So I have started to pay a little bit more attention. Like we integrated like I know it sounds silly, but like QuickBooks, and even though it's like not a big deal, but it's a tool that's able to like show me at least I know. And also now all the girls in my team do like a video every week explaining in their little video, Mina's idea, by the way. Hey Mina. You know, he said it would be a good idea if everybody could just do a little video saying, hey, this is what I did this week, even though we have meetings and all that, but just to get a feel of, you know, how they're feeling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is there behind like your smile, or well, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, then they go and they say, okay, I did this. They just have a checklist,
Right.
short video, 2 minutes. And then my CO does the same. And then she'll say, okay, this week we had this much revenue coming in. This is how much net profit we have every single week. So it's amazing for me because I'm that kind of person that like I'll go into QuickBooks and I'll be like, this is a lot. Again, even though for some people are like, what is she talking about? That's so simple. But for me, it's just, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm the
Right.
person that likes to like talk and be out there and do this and do that. I don't like to look at like things like this, even though I have an accounting degree. Don't tell anyone. Um, so, you know, for me, so, but this has helped me, and it's very small things. You know, if you have somebody that you work with, you know, just this simple thing has solved so much for me because I'm like, you know what? Now I know last week we did this. What do I need to do this week to increase that? Or, you know, how can I help like my assistants do better? Like, what is it in their voice or what is it that they said? And we always encourage them to say, you know, what do they think it could be done better within our company? What can they improve? What can I improve? You know, you know, a long time ago, they're like, you know what, Isabella, like we want to see more of her. And I'm like, I would never want to see my boss. Like, even though I'm good at what I do, like, why? No. So in my head, I thought that by not doing like weekly meetings with them, only like once a month, like they'll be happy they don't have to see the
Right.
boss. Like that's how I thought of it. But they're like, oh, we want to see more. For I'm like, you do? I guess. But I wouldn't have known that had they not mentioned that.
Right.
So it's just small things. And again, it's not like huge, complicated things. And I know people use different, you know, different CRMs and different tools. And, you know, if it works for you, it's great. But, you know, I still have my communication with my girls on Facebook. I mean, we have our Trello boards that everybody, you know, checks, and they go through every single day and they check mark it like, okay, then this.
Mhm.
Um, but again, we try to keep it simple. I don't want to overwhelm them either with like, oh, let's go through every single number and why do you think this is like what we're doing works, you know,
Yeah.
it works.
Beautiful. Last question. Do you have time?
I have all the time in the world. All we have is time.
Don't lie to me. I know that you have more meetings. This is this one just always kind of trumps me. Not trumps me, but just like I think about it a lot. And when you reach a certain level in business, it's kind of like with especially with where you're at, you're kind of in a no man's land in terms of there's no one that you can really talk to, one person or one little course that you can buy that will give you like the next step. If you're trying to go from like 3 million to 10 million, yes, there's some consultants, but in general, there's no exact blueprint. So it's kind of this blur, and you have to like intuitively feel your way to 6 million, 9 million, 12, etc. So how do you see your business overall and think like what's your logic or thought process for like, okay, this is the action or this is the bottleneck we need to solve to get us to 6 million, to 10 million? How do you think about like what is going to get us to the next level? How do you come up with realizing that thing that is going to get you to the next
Yeah,
level?
so this is a very good question, and I know there's an easy way to do this is look at your numbers now, see, you know, in my case, like how many clients do I have, was the average, you know, campaign request, and multiply that by however many I need. And when you do that, it shows you, okay, so now you have, you know, 100 clients, let's say, example, coming in every week. You know, for me to get to that number, I will need to have 300. So now what do I need to do to have the 300? I need to make this many more calls. I need to do this many more podcasts. I need to do this. So there are metrics you can measure when it comes to this. Now, if you were to ask me as Izabela, I'm more like kind of like a free soul, like whatever happens, happens. And it always works out for me, and it does. So when I'm ready to be serious about that, not that now I'm not, but it's not a pressing matter. You know what I mean? Like I have all my life. But if somebody was very serious and say, you know, I need to get from 50 to 100,000, like just double that, double down on exactly what you're doing right now, just double it. So if you're doing 2 calls a day, do 4 or do 5, do extra, be more, do more. So there are ways to measure this. And, you know, every business person that you would talk to, entrepreneurs, they would tell you this, like, check your numbers. Your numbers are very important, and take this as an advice and what I say and not what I do. Because again, like right now, I'm just like, whatever, I just play. But there are ways to get there. So when I am ready to make that more serious, then definitely I can just look at the numbers and know exactly what I have to do.
Beautiful. I think we're similar, aligned in the sense that looking at the numbers, reverse engineer, and then look at what's working, and then just try to 10x that and double down. I think Jim Collins talks about bullets to cannonballs, like try to just turn whatever's working well into like 10xing it as much as possible. So beautiful. We didn't get to go into DMT or any of the crazy stuff that we talked about before the recording started. And nothing like drug abuse related, more so I guess you could say maybe spiritual practice, like if you want to call it that, transcendental.
We can do a full other episode on that. I think it's very interesting. I mean, you know, in my experience, you know, being the only person coming from Romania, from my city, be the only one who made it to America, even though everybody wanted to. And the series of experiences that happened in my life that seemed so coincidental, that really weren't. Like I created this for myself. So when you start having these thoughts, you realize that you can have anything you want. Everything that I've ever wanted, I have. Everything that I envisioned, like I could see it, it happened. And it's so interesting because people usually, you know, end up to a point and they're like, they look back and they're like, I don't know how I got here. Yes, you do. You know, exactly. You actually envision it and you just follow that route. So it's so easy to create new routes in your life. Like it's so easy to really make your life. And I know it sounds like I'm some kind of cuckoo person, but I'm not, guys. I'm telling you, like, okay, I'll just give you one example. So I was in Romania, freezing cold. And for like years now, I've been thinking, oh my God, I want to go to America. I want to go to America. Every single night, I would say this before going to sleep. I want to go to America. I want to go to, this is communist Romania. We didn't even have TV. Like, you know, there was some shit going on. So it was impossible for me to come to America. Like it was logically impossible. Just like you think right now, okay, I want to have an apple appear in my hands out of nowhere. You know, that's impossible. Okay. Me wanting to America, it was impossible. But every single day I said, I want to go to America. I want to go to America. And I got to the point where I already believed that I was going to go. There was no way I'm not going. So when that happened, then again, something happened in the universe. Something, I don't know what, I can explain it. Nobody can explain these things. I'm walking home from school one day, freezing cold. And I hold my jacket and I'm walking. I look up and I see like through snow and everything, this lamppost, like maybe like 10 feet away from me. And it had a little small note on it. I could see that it was just like put there. And I was like, okay, caught my eye. And I walked towards it and I look at that note and this is literally what it said, Taylor. Do you want to go to America? Call this number. I'm not joking. I'm not lying to you. So I was like, I look around, nobody, right? And I'm like, okay, I know this is for me. Like, I know this is for me. Like, I know, like, I created this. I created this opportunity. So what happened is every time in life I had these like holy shit moments, I realized that I'm the one creating my life. Like literally, I'm the one building my life. I mean, I wanted to America and all of a sudden, this. And of course, I can see how people are like, oh, it's just a coincidence, Okay, yeah, it's possible. But when it happens again and again and again and again. And so my vision of coming to America was like, I always picture like this house with like, I walk into this room and there's a bunk bed. Like I had real imagination and how I saw it. And the second place that I lived in America, it was at this lady's house who I walked upstairs and she had the same bunk bed. Like, okay, a coincidence. A lot of people have bunk beds in America, right? We never had that in Romania. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? Like I created my path because we were talking about DMT, and again, if you want to do this in another time and you want me to share my experience, totally would. And everything I've done. And then I came to America and I was like, oh my God, I want to find this and I want to do this and I want to get this. And everything I wanted was just like, boom, boom, boom. But also it was my limited brain. So I didn't ask for a lot. I didn't know, but I knew I had the power, but I had the power in my own little brain at that time. Now, of course, when I look back, I'm like, I could have wished for the world and I would have had it. But I wished for small things that actually helped me. And I was like, I really want to meet a person that can like help me with this. I met this lady who actually I live with her. And, I was like, oh my God, like it was time to go back to Romania after a year. And I was like, I need to meet somebody that can like take care of me. Like even without saying it, but I really felt like I needed to. I met this lady at the gym and she's like, come live with me. I will feed you. I will clothe you. And all you have to do is just help me here and there. Boom. I mean, is this coincidence? Again, yes, but maybe. But I know I created this path. And after that, I went out with her one time and her friends, they were all older than me. And I'm sitting at the bar and the bartender is like, do you want to drink? I said, I don't drink, but I'll have a Diet Coke. He's like, you don't drink, really? Would you like to have a job here? I had no job. I've been needing a job. As simple as that. Taylor, he's like, do you want a job? I was like, can I start tomorrow? He's like, yes. But again, you see like everything that happened. That's not to say I didn't have shitty times and nothing bad happened to me. Oh my God, so many. But the good ones outweigh the bad ones. And every time something good like this happened, it reinforced my idea that I can do anything I want.
Yes.
So
absolutely beautiful. I think we can have an amazing conversation on that. You went really deep on it. The whole, you could call it, I would summarize quantum spiritual manifestation type realm stuff that maybe people don't want to hear those words, but like you can see it through that realm if you want the ability to think of something and create it with hard work.
And we all have that power. If you say, I don't, then you don't. But if you say you do, then you do. It's as simple as that.
It is very beautiful. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate your time. This is going to be fun making a title for this interview.
I'm curious what it will be. I can't wait.
I'm very excited. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate your time.
My very pleasure. Thank you, Taylor.
Beautiful.